All right, family, what's up? We are back with another weekly Forex forecast. So for this week, we're only going to be trading 2 to 3 pairs. We're not going to be trading too much just because we have a war now going on. So there's going to be a lot going on in the market. We might see a lot of sporadic movements. And so we're going to be real cautious this week, similar to last week. Last week, we had a really, really nice week, especially with the students. We took a few extra trades. So last week was just beautiful. Even the trades that I pushed out to you guys on the YouTube, just a beautiful, beautiful week. So we're going to start off with going over the recap from last week, and then we'll dive into some of the new pairs that I am going to be looking at with the team for this week. Cool? All right, man, let's get it. Okay, so for this week, DXY. So last week, y'all know that we were looking at a retracement down into the zone and then a movement up, right? So we didn't get the full push up, but we got a nice reaction out of this area towards the upside. So y'all should have been able to capitalize on a few of the DXY cross pairs in correlation to what you have seen for the reaction on this overall. So for those of y'all that don't know, I do specialize in the DXY. It's one of my most accurate pairs. And for those of y'all that are new to the streams, I have been trading for about 11 years. My main trading strategy is Elliott Waves and smart money concepts. So that is what you guys will get from me overall. Okay. So for this week, I'm going to be looking at almost the same movement that we were looking at from last week, but I'm going to be looking at that continuation. Now, one key area that I am focusing on is going to be this order block, but we'll talk about that shortly. Okay. So let's quickly finish up on the recap and then we'll dive into the updates for this week. So for last week, what we were looking at on EURUSD was for price action to give us a correction into this range and then a movement down. We came literally pips away and then we got a reaction towards the downside. Overall, we did not get triggered in this trade. And for this week, I might expect price action to trigger, which we're going to talk about shortly as well. But for overall last week, you guys shouldn't have been triggered into the EURUSD trade unless you tried to catch it early. If you did catch it early, you should have made profit in some type of way. You had 2 rounds towards the downside, and even right now, it's still lower than this earlier potential entry point. So overall, last week, not too much going on the EURUSD, just a consolidated market. GBPUSD. So this is one of our highlights from last week, man. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful chef's kiss trade. This trade, last week, we were looking for the market to retrace into our area of interest. We got all of our confirmations, even got our CCC strategy. Everything was just beautiful on this trade. And then we got an immediate decline towards the downside. So this was another opportunity that you guys should have been able to catch last week. So again, if you're in the community chat room, make sure you guys are in there. That's where I put all of these updates. The link is down below in the description. If y'all are new to the channel as well, make sure y'all subscribe so you don't miss out on any future updates, right? But the description down below is going to have our Telegram link. That's where I put all of the updates for my trades. So throughout the week, when I potentially enter, exit, if I'm seeing something that I don't like, all of that information goes in the chat room. It's completely free. The link is down below. Please do not consider looking at my trades if you are not in the chat room, because you're not going to be able to get any kind of updates on what's going on. Okay. So this beautiful trade, the students entered around here. I told the students to wait a little bit. So we did get a little bit more of a better entry overall, but beautiful decline. We took partial profits here and we took full profits around here. So I let everyone know that in the chat room as well, and as well as our student team. So last week was a beautiful, profitable week on GBPUSD. US30. So this one was a trade that we actually skipped last week. And again, this is one of those key reasons why you guys need to be in the chat room, because of how the market opened. I did not like that. And so immediately, and there was this movement here, I didn't like the impulse towards the market open down towards our entry. So I let everybody know to wait on that. And just to show you guys, here it is on February 22nd, shortly after I dropped the video. I'm not going to enter US30 today. We'll wait. And so that was the last update. And a few days later, I let them know we're just going to go ahead and leave that alone fully. So we actually never took this trade. So again, if you're not in the chat room, you're not going to get the update. So those are literally all of the updates that trades overall that I pushed out to you guys. So literally, there was only one trade you could have caught, which was GBPUSD. If you somehow caught EURUSD, cheers. But again, it should have been a profitable week for you again, because that's just what we do. So cheers to that. Now let's go over the updates and what we're going to be looking at for this trading week. So this week, we're going to be looking at gold, DXY, EURUSD, GBPUSD. So that's what we're going to be eyeing on this week. If there's anything else that I like or pops up, I'll give you guys that update in the chat. So this week on EURUSD, we formed a key low last week, and this key low must hold this week in order for price action to not give us a shift towards the downside. If price action breaks this low, it's going to give us a change of character, right? And so at that point, we might look to see price action give us a little bit more of a movement towards the downside. Now, if everything is to hold overall structurally, we should not see that. And on last week's price action, we got a closure above this level, which gave us a overall external change of structure. So if we get a break below this low, it's going to be an internal change of character. But if we continue to hold this structural area here from this break, the next thing that we're going to be looking at is going to be a break of structure. So based off of the overall external price action, I'm looking at price to continue towards the upside based on the signs that it gave us from the previous weeks. And that's what we were looking at last week. We were looking at price action to retrace down here and then continue up based off of that. Now, right now, we're going into a pennant formation. So generally, an explosion is going to come to them. So I'm expecting price action again to continue towards the upside. This is the area that I'm going to be targeting, this order block right here. And so for this week, I just don't want to see price action invalidate this level. Now we can sweep it, but as long as we don't close it, because if we close it, then that's going to give us the change of character. So for this week, this is going to be your invalidation, and you're going to be looking for any type of retracements that you can get. Maybe here, even in this range, would be okay, and then a continuation towards the upside, or it might just shoot straight up from the market open. Again, based on the war situation right now, historically, you would expect gold to go towards the upside, the DXY to go towards the upside, and oil to go towards the upside. So literally from today over the next 10 days, you guys should be looking at buys on DXY, oil, and gold. These are going to be very easy opportunities for y'all to trade. And that's based off of just investors are going to be flocking to these safe haven pairs. So that's just give y'all a little secret sauce right there, common sense right there. So just knowing that and knowing our structure that we have, it all aligns when it comes to fundamental data and technical data. So we're going to hold the same directional bias, and we're going to be looking for price action to head towards the upside this week and to tap into this range. So that's going to be your DXY bias. So for gold, this was also a trade that me and the students picked at last week. We got a little scalp off on gold. We were looking at price action to tap into this range. And this was actually the trade. Tapped into this range and then popped immediately towards the upside. We were able to get some parcels on this one before it came back to closes at entry, before it actually overall went in the actual direction that we intended it to go to. So we got a little bit of a scalp off of this one. Then we got closed out at entry, and then it took off. So it happens. So for this week, what do I expect on gold? So I'm expecting a little bit more upside on gold for this week, but I would like to see a correction, of course, if we are going to enter the market on gold. Now, one key area that I am eyeing is going to be this 1 hour fair value gap right here. All right. And I would need price action to be in our premium range in order for me to consider taking a trade. So my area of interest for this trade this week is going to be in this box. If I can get gold to retrace in this box before just continuing towards the upside, then I'm going to be interested in a long position on gold. And I'll probably be holding that for maybe at least the duration of this whole war situation for sure. So if it is not to come all the way down here, you're probably just going to get a textbook break and retest and then a continuation towards the upside. So we do have just continuous break of structures towards the upside. So this is going to be your key low that price action must hold. If it does break this low, then you would see price action shift and a change of character and then continue towards the downside. So now that we have freshly broken structure towards the upside, you would expect price action to break and then mitigate, and your mitigation points are going to be either fair value gaps, order blocks, liquidity areas, things like that, and then a continuation towards the upside. And don't just look for mitigation points. Make sure you have further confluences, further confirmations on top of those mitigation points, okay? But further upside this week on gold is what I will be looking at with my students. And again, for those of y'all that are new, make sure y'all are subscribed. And if y'all are liking the content, make sure y'all hit the like button as well. If y'all have any questions, y'all can drop that down below in the description, and then I will try to answer those as soon as I can for y'all. So since we did close out last week on GBPUSD, I'm going to give y'all a fresh update on GU, and this is going to be the last pair that we're looking at for this week. So for GU, I want to see a continuation this week on GU, and I don't want it to invalidate. GU is a beautiful trade, man. Beautiful trade. Did exactly what it needed to do last week. Last week was a beautiful week. We snapped last week, y'all. I can't even lie to y'all. We snapped, especially with the extra trades that I dropped for the students. We also had an odd USD short-term trade that we took. I mean, we just snapped last week. Key level that I do not want to see price action break is going to be here. So this is going to be the key invalidation level. As long as we hold this level, and it's a range, so it's going to be from this high to this level. As long as we hold that range, we should not expect GU to continue towards the upside before killing this low. And I do expect price action to dig down into this range or even sweeping this low. So again, with the war situation going on, you typically would expect the DXY to head towards the upside, and following, you would expect EURUSD to go down, and you would expect GBPUSD to go down. So this week, I'm going to be looking for a small correction on price action and then a continuation towards the downside. Let's break this down and try to see where exactly it could correct before continuing down. Do like this 1 hour FVG. If price action is to just straight out the gate drop because of the war situation, then you would see price action react out of this order block and just continue straight down. That's what I'm seeing, y'all. If I'm going to take a trade on this, it has to come in here. Okay. So if I'm going to take a continuation trade on this for this week, I would need price action to come to this range and then drop. So I'm going to be looking for a trade in this area. If it happens in here, I'm most likely going to miss the trade. But if it does come into this range, I will be looking at this opportunity with the students for a continuation towards the downside. We are going to be targeting. So I just want to highlight some short-term levels real quick. And it's perfect. You see how the short-term levels align right with that key area that we were looking at, which is this order block. So this is probably the furthest I would be taking this for this week. Okay. If I were you guys, I'd be looking at something like this for this upcoming trading week on GBPUSD. Other than that, man, that's really all I got for y'all. And again, if y'all are new to the channel, make sure y'all subscribe so y'all don't miss out on any future updates. And the link to the free Telegram chat room is down below in the description. That is where I post all of the updates for these trades. When I enter the trades, when I'm exiting the trades, if there's something that I don't like and I just decide not to take the trade, whatever the case may be, those updates go in the chat room, which is down below. You guys can also have access to ask me questions in the chat room. If you are interested in the mentoring package, that information is down in the chat room as well. So everything y'all need is in the free chat room. The chat room is literally designed for me to try to help y'all progress as much as I can and just try to be a game changer in the industry for y'all, because I know this industry is just full of a lot of traders who are just fluff and not consistent, not profitable at all. So it's just a complete joke, y'all. So again, y'all are getting y'all's hand held by an 11-year trader who literally asks nothing from y'all. If you're in the chat room, then I just give it out. I literally just give it out. I just give out money. So that's what I do for y'all. I try to help y'all throughout y'all's journey. So that's what thrives and feeds me, y'all's interaction, things that, knowing that y'all are winning, knowing that y'all are eating, that's really what I do it for. So there's nothing y'all can really do for me at my point in my career. So again, appreciate y'all for tuning in. I hope y'all have a great trading week. Let's see how the markets react this week. Again, be safe this week, just because we have a lot going on with the war situation and the markets could just be a complete mess or nightmare. So again, be safe. For those of y'all that are considering things that I am talking about in this video, make sure you are tuned in the chat room, because I'm going to be keeping you guys updated as the market moves, especially with the war situation going on this week. So I will be letting you guys know step by step those movements that I make on these trades. All right, guys, I will catch y'all later. Peace.